A very good evening and welcome to Times Exclusive right here on Times TV. My name is Elvis Howahowa. This is a program where we will talk to a variety of guests discussing issues of national importance. And this evening, I'm joined by Mr. Mandala Mambulasa. He's a legal practitioner and former president of the Malawi Law Society. We'll be welcoming him to the program very shortly. But remember, this program is brought to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints.
I love brilliant green on my walls. I love signal red, sweet lime, electric blue. I just love golden yellow.
You get all that and more at Rainbow Paints. Imagine a water-based paint that is water-resistant. Imagine a paint that is absolutely washable to remove dirt. And it guarantees you 10,000 cleaning scrubs over its lifespan without losing its luster. There can only be one paint that does just that, and that paint is acrylic sheen. Get yours today at all leading hardware stores. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind. Part of the deal.
Mr. Mambulasa, a very good evening and welcome to Times Exclusive.
Thank you.
There is an issue currently that's in court to do with the elections.
Yes.
But first of all, give us your own personal assessment of how you viewed the whole process, the whole election process, before we get into that actual case.
Well, I think that voting was done peacefully. We didn't have issues. The determination of the results, some people think that we can do better than we do. Other countries are able to do it within 3 days, and you're able to, put this behind you. But us, we take 5, 6, 7 days. Maybe it's okay, but maybe we can do better. We can do better in that regard. Some people are not happy with the outcome. They believe that there were serious irregularities. Others are happy, celebrating that they won. So, but overall, I think it wasn't as bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad. I think an exercise of that magnitude, there are bound to be problems here and there. Yeah, it's almost impossible that we can have a flawless process, in my view. Yeah. So, but overall, I think we did fairly well.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Now, in the course of the elections,
Yes.
there were complaints that some candidates registered. The chairperson of the Malawi Electoral Commission, Dr. Jenansa, even affirmed during a press conference at Comesa Hall that they received 147 complaints.
Yes.
There were issues to do with some of the sheets being T-Pexed or some of the figures being erased with T-Pex, etc., etc. At the end of the day, the Malawi Congress Party and UTM filed complaints at the court, the High Court initially,
Yes.
to say, well, we're not satisfied. Initially, it was about a recount. Let's get into that matter first of all.
Yes.
Does the Constitution, is that allowed for someone to go to the court and say, well, we want a recount? How does it go?
Okay. First of all, when you read the Constitution, it says that the Electoral Commission is a body which has to deal with petitions and complaints. So ideally, the process of an election would require that the Commission also deals with issues of complaints that are coming from the stakeholders or the people involved in the process. And in this case, we have been told that MCP lodged those complaints. The chairperson said they were resolved, but MCP said they were not resolved. So I really don't know who to believe, but that's what we were told. So at the end of the day, if you think that you have not been assisted, then obviously you have a right to approach the courts and seek legal redress. So it's perfectly in order for any person who is not happy with the way the Electoral Commission has handled a particular complaint or petition to then approach the courts for review. So the law allows that, both under the Constitution and also the Parliamentary and Presidential Elections Act, and also the Local Government Act. So it's something that is perfectly in order and it's allowed. You can approach the courts and complain.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Now, we've seen in the past couple of days that issue now being referred to the Constitutional Court by Judge Charles Mkandawe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
What is the Constitutional Court? Let's begin.
Okay. When you read our Constitution, I think Section 0104, it establishes, I think, the Supreme Court of Appeal for Malawi. That's the court at the apex, at the topmost. Then below that, under, I think, is it Section 108, you have the Constitution. I mean, you have the High Court. You have the High Court. And then under Section, I think, 110, you have the subordinate courts. So the subordinate courts would be the magistrate courts and also the industrial relations court. So within the magistrate courts, you have lay magistrates, so first grade, second grade, third grade, and fourth grade. And then you have resident magistrate courts, which are manned by lawyers. So you have the resident magistrate, you have the senior resident magistrate, the principal resident magistrate, and the chief resident magistrate. But basically, if you look at the tier, it's a three-tier process. So you have subordinate courts, you have High Court, then you have the Supreme Court of Appeal. Now, you will see here that we haven't talked anything about the Constitutional Court. So, in other words, we do not have a provision that says there's hereby established a court known as Constitutional Court. There's nothing like that. But what people refer to as a Constitutional Court is a case which involves the interpretation or application of a constitutional provision. All right? Now, if a case relates substantively to either application or interpretation of the Constitution, then the law under the Courts Act has given the Chief Justice the power to say that, okay, insofar as this case will involve either the application or the interpretation of a provision or provisions in the Constitution, then in that case is not decided by a single judge. It has to be decided by not less than 3 judges. Yeah? So then loosely, that's what our people call the Constitutional Court. To say that here the Chief Justice is of the view that this matter involves the application or interpretation of constitutional provisions, and therefore I am satisfied that it has to be handled by not less than 3 judges. So they can be 3, they can be 5, they can be 7, they can be 9, any number as long as it is not less than 3. So loosely, that's what people call Constitutional Court. But basically, it is still the High Court, because it is just that for this particular case, it will be handled by 3 judges or 5 or 7, unlike all other cases where a single judge handles the matter. So that's the one that people call the Constitutional Court. But strictly speaking, Malawi does not have a Constitutional Court. Strictly speaking.
Okay, fine. So where did this originate from? Because we want people to understand what's going on here. Where did this originate? What's the history behind it?
Okay. The history behind it is that there's no doubt that a single member of the bench can decide a matter involving the Constitution. They have done that in the past before. But there was a feeling that perhaps, because when you're interpreting a Constitution, it's going to affect so many people. Usually it changes the landscape. So you are either challenging a law, you are either, so you can see that the ramifications will be so much. Yeah, so because of that, there was a feeling that perhaps it would be good also if at least there were maybe 3 heads or 5 heads, because it's an enormous thing that will, the decision is so huge. and it will impact on so many people. So instead of leaving it to a single member, maybe it's good that we have 3, 5, 7 judges like that. That's one view. But also, I think there was a realization that some people would easily accuse a single member that maybe they were biased, or maybe because of certain inclinations. But at least if you have many heads, it's difficult to say that they were biased, because you are sure that it was something that a lot more went into the process than just a single member.
Others.
So a little bit of legitimacy and So
what about the question to say, it's the Chief Justice, isn't it?
Yes.
Who appoints these judges, this panel of judges, isn't it? What happens? And who appoints the Chief Justice? That's the question. It continues like that.
Okay. Well, all judges are appointed by the Judicial Service Commission.
Yeah.
A recommendation by the Judicial Service Commission, but appointed by the President.
Yeah.
And the same is true with the Chief Justice, appointed by the President, but confirmed by the National Assembly.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And your question was?
Isn't that panel of judges
Yes.
that preside over such cases?
Yes.
Not this one, but such cases.
Yes.
Are they not Are they not picked by the Chief Justice?
That I'm not sure how it is done, but from what I know is that once the Chief Justice has certified, then they have to, find ways who's going to sit.
Okay.
So maybe they look at I don't know whether it's experience,
Yes, yeah.
or maybe expertise that the judges have. Maybe they look at gender. Maybe they look at representation. Yeah. So maybe there are many things that will go into it, not just the Chief Justice appointing willy-nilly.
Yeah.
There has to be some. I believe there has to be like
objective,
in this
objective reasons. Yeah.
Exactly. Like in the current case we're talking about, at least there's a lady justice,
Okay.
which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so maybe that's one of the things that the whoever decides will take into account or into consideration. But as far as I'm concerned, all I know is that once the Chief Justice has certified, then 3, 5, 7 judges will have to sit.
Okay.
But as to who decides, because the High Court also has we call him a judge president. Yeah, so I'm not sure whether it is a judge president or the Chief Justice, because for the Chief Justice, it's just to certify.
Okay.
But who appoints, it could as well be the judge president, who says maybe you and you. Could as well be the Chief Justice, but I'm not sure who exactly says so and so is going to sit.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the complexity of such cases. It's huge. You're talking about figures. You're talking about all that stuff. You're talking about something that, as you said earlier, is going to have huge ramifications on people's lives. How complex is this a case? Is this the biggest when it comes to the law?
Well, I think it depends. It depends. Well, there are cases, for example, criminal cases, which people would also say they're complex. Because, like, for example, in terms of investigation, you have to go to many countries, check accounts, foreign accounts. So it involves a lot. They would involve a lot. So maybe that's where one aspect of complexity in terms of the investigation for you to prosecute a case like that. But for a case like this one, it's just that, at least because it concerns the president, maybe for me, that's why I would say, yeah, but I wouldn't say that it's a complex as such. Yeah, for me, no, I wouldn't say that.
It's not.
No, I wouldn't say that it's complex as such. Yeah, but usually it would be criminal cases. Maybe in some cases, even commercial cases. Yeah, there will be some complex commercial cases, international trade and all these. Yeah.
Okay.
But for this particular one, it's just a constitutional matter for me. Yeah. So may not necessarily be a complex one as such.
Okay. Now, before this case starts, we're hearing that there will be a scheduling conference.
Yes.
Where both parties concerned, we're going to meet and discuss how this case should proceed.
Yes.
What does that involve? What does that entail? What goes on during the scheduling conference?
Okay. Okay, it's It's a procedural step, if I may put it that way. So before the case is heard, the parties and the judge or judicial officer involved, everyone has to sit together and try to thrash out issues in advance. So you don't want people to be raising issues during hearing. So this is the time that you have to thrash out all the issues. So for example, I think I saw on WhatsApp, on one of the forums, now questions that have to be answered by the parties. You know, do you want more information from the other side? You have to say, if you think you want more information, then you have to say yes.
Yeah.
And what kind of information do you want? Then you have to specify. So that the other party is also put on notice and have to provide that to you. So they ask questions and you go through. We create a checklist, sort of. Yeah. So you answer those questions so that these issues shouldn't arise at the time that the hearing is starting. You need to address every issue of concern at this stage, and the other part has to do it before the hearing, so that when the hearing starts, you just go into hearing without you raising, but they didn't give us this one. The question will be, you had time to ask for it during scheduling, you didn't, so you can't raise it now. So it's to avoid delays, to make sure that things go smoothly, and all things that have to be sorted out are sorted out well in advance.
How much time is given to such cases? Because you're looking at elections, people need results, whether there were irregularities, and that has to be established by the court, and whether they have to declare it null and void the election, or whether they say there was no problem. How many days, or what's the specific period given?
Okay, we have what we call the courts, High Court, Civil Procedure Rules 2017. Under these rules, when you go to order 19, this is technical.
Yeah.
Sorry, viewers.
They're listening. They're listening very attentively.
Okay, yeah, fine. It's a little technical.
Yeah.
But basically, it says that from the day that you have commenced your case, the other party whom you are suing, be it the Attorney General or the Electoral Commission, has 7 days within which to respond or put their defense.
Okay.
All right? Then, once the Attorney General or the Electoral Commission has been saved with the application, they will have 3 days within which to respond to the case. Yes. Then there will be another 3 days in which the applicant or the petitioner now has to respond to what has now come. Because the applicant or the petitioner is the one who initiated the process and has saved the Electoral Commission or Attorney General. Attorney General has responded. So he's also given another 3 days within which to respond on the issues that may have been raised. So that makes it already 13 days. Yeah. Then when you go down, the order says that the decision has to be given or delivered within 14 days from the date of the hearing, from the date of the last hearing.
Okay, fine.
So when you add those dates, the 13 and the 14, we are somewhere around 28, 27, 28
days. Yeah.
So basically, this case from the date it started, it should be concluded within 20 days, including judgment.
Almost a month.
Almost a month. So basically, we're talking about this. We're talking about this June or early August at a minimum.
Why
at a maximum?
Why is it?
We are hoping. I'm hoping
Yeah.
that there won't be appeals
Yeah.
to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Because if then there will be appeals to the Supreme Court, then that may delay this schedule. But otherwise, if we go by the order 19, under the rules, everything has to be concluded within 28 days.
Why is it treated differently? Why is it that case? I would understand it's different in other cases. Why is it that case?
Yeah, because electoral petitions by their nature, you want people to move on, especially for this particular one. It's a presidential electoral challenge. So really, the country has to move on. People have to, go back to, their lives, their businesses, and what have you. So this process was put in place to make sure that matters are resolved as quickly as possible so that we cannot hold people at ransom forever. You know, it's the economy, it's the people. I mean, just those days that they were not able to announce the results, children were not going to school.
Yeah.
You know, businesses were not, operating. Yeah, so you cannot have that process, without knowing when it will end. Yeah, so that's why they said, no. I think for these kind of cases, let's give it maximum of a month so that everything is resolved and the country moves on.
Okay.
Because it affects so many aspects of life, and really it's not a desirable situation to be in a state of uncertainty forever. Yeah.
If you're just joining us, you're watching Times Exclusive right here on Times TV. My name is Elvis Howahowa, and today we're talking to Mr. Mandala Mambulasa, a legal practitioner and, of course, former president of the Malawi Law Society. We're looking at what goes on when, for instance, a concerned party takes matters of an election to court, saying, well, we're not satisfied with how that election was handled. How do such cases go? That's what we're trying to understand here on Times Exclusive this evening. But remember that the program is brought to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints.
I love brilliant green on my walls. I love signal red, sweet lime, electric blue. I just love golden yellow.
You get all that and more at Rainbow Paints. Imagine a water-based paint that is water-resistant. Imagine a paint that is absolutely washable to remove dirt. And it guarantees you 10,000 cleaning scrubs over its lifespan without losing its luster. There can only be one paint that does just that, and that paint is acrylic sheen. Get yours today at all leading hardware stores. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind. Part of the deal.
This is Times Exclusive right here on Times TV. My name is Elvis Howahowa. Today we're talking to Mr. Mandala Mambulasa, legal practitioner, as well as a former president of the Malawi Law Society, helping us to understand what goes on when a country has got a case to do with results of a general election. Remember that the Malawi Congress Party and, of course, UTM are contesting presidential results of the May 21 general elections at the High Court. It's been called a constitutional court because there has to be an application or interpretation of constitutional requirements in as far as what went on during this particular election is concerned. And Mr. Mambulasa is still here. Mr. Mambulasa, let's proceed with our discussion and talk about now witnesses. What kind of witnesses are going to be there? Is it Dr. Ansah, for instance? Is it going to be, what kind of witnesses will be paraded during this particular case? Yeah.
Well, I doubt whether it would have to be Dr. Ansah herself, because she is not a technocrat, if I may put it that way. I would suppose that people who are directly involved with the process would have to be the ones, if at all, someone has to be called as a witness, who may have then to come to court and testify. And this is one of the things that is dealt with at scheduling conference that you asked about.
Yeah.
So if, for example, you want someone to come and testify, then you make it known that would want so and so to come. Would want to cross-examine them or whatever. Yeah. So. But I doubt, personally, if she would be required as a witness, because this process, it's mostly through paperwork. Yeah, almost everything is paperwork.
Excuse me,
yeah. So my view would be that maybe it's documentary evidence that would be required more than someone coming to testify. Yeah, because a witness has to be the way we said in law. Who witnessed the event, or who saw, or who was present. And obviously, the answer wasn't present across the country. So, I mean, things that are happening in Mangoji or Goliath or whatever. So I just don't see how she could be called upon to be, to testify, except, I don't know, in things that she was directly involved.
So if
she can speak to.
So sorry to cut you, if it would be documented, the court also says, the law also says you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. That's something went wrong. How do you prove beyond reasonable doubt using a document? That's the question. Yeah?
Okay, well, but in this particular case,
Yeah.
that is not the standard that will be used.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that standard is used in criminal cases.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, but this one is not a criminal case. It is a civil case.
Yeah.
So the standard of proof
Uh-huh.
is, we call it on a balance of probabilities.
Okay.
So basically it's
Could it-
51-49.
Could it have been possible?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So 51-49. So
Okay.
if you're able to make out your case 51%,
Mhm.
and the other one is 49, then you have made out your case.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So it's on a balance of probabilities.
Probability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that score, then it should be possible for you to say that, okay, this is the sheet that was given to our monitor, and it shows this result. Look at this one, which you entered. It shows a different figure. I mean, that can be proved through documents without having necessarily to call the people.
A witness.
So but if it will be, if the lawyers would deem that a particular witness be called, by all means they can be summoned to go to court and testify on a particular matter. Yeah.
Let's talk about issues that were not dealt with, for instance, by the Malawi Electoral Commission. Reports that were heard. There was issue to do with fiber being interrupted,
Yes,
etc.
vandalized.
TVs going off air.
Yes.
There were issues to do with TPEX, which was not supplied by the Malawi Electoral Commission, going into the issue. Would that all come in? Because there were a lot of issues, 147
Yes,
complaints as well.
Mm.
Will that all be looked into? Or what do you make of all these issues that some feel were not addressed? The name of the vice president as well being transferred to Chizumul Island in the Goma district. Up to now, the public has not been told what went on, who has been arrested, or what went down.
Yeah.
So, will all these issues be looked into, or can they be brought forward? Or what's your take?
Okay.
How do you feel about it? Yeah.
Okay. For me, you are right that I would have expected that at least by now, we should have been told who authorized the transfer, for example, of
The vice president.
the vice president. Yeah, for it to go. Is it Chizumul
Chizumul
Island or
Island,
something?
yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but I haven't heard anything. Being taken for, and it raises suspicion in the minds of reasonable people that how could this have happened without senior officials at the Electoral Commission knowing it? And as you're saying, until now we haven't been told anything. It raises suspicion, that, and this is why some people have problems now believing anything that the Electoral Commission is saying, because they must be seen to be following up on issues and dealing with them up to the logical end or conclusion, and which hasn't happened in this particular case. Of course, we have been told that some people who attacked the former minister,
Homeland Security Minister,
yes,
Dawsi,
have been arrested. But there were so many other issues. For example, the Nsanje incident.
Yeah.
Courts are not functional. We haven't heard that the man is being prosecuted, and you wonder why. When he committed an offense under electoral laws. So these are issues that should be addressed.
Dr. Ansah said, I remember that they sent a team to Nsanje, and they found out that nothing went amiss. Everything was in order.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Well, if that is the case, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But obviously, as we are saying, they are how about the one for the vice president who authorized the transfer, and what has happened? Yeah. That we haven't been told. So can they deal with it then? Yeah. So for the ones that they haven't dealt with, can they deal with them so that we know what actually happened? Yeah. If that one has been resolved, fine, well, fine and good. Yeah. But
can that reluctance and be used in the case of Seba? There was this reluctance. These issues were not resolved. When the Malawi Electoral Commission, as you pointed out earlier, under electoral laws or Constitution of Malawi, is supposed to also be addressing concerns when an election is going on.
Yes.
Can that be taken into account?
It can be taken into account.
Yeah.
Because I have not seen the original court documents, but from what I've been reading on social media, one of the issues which is being raised is that the election was not conducted in accordance with the laws. So as you rightly said, if the law says that you must deal with complaints and petitions, and you don't, then have you conducted the elections in compliance with the law?
Yeah.
Maybe the answer may be no. So definitely it can be raised. Yeah, so that if you want to show that the election wasn't conducted in accordance with the law, you can use that as an argument, to make that point. Now, talking about the fiber, it was a rather unfortunate incident, if I may put it that way. From what I've gathered, you remember there were rumors, first of all, that internet was going to be shut down, and so to have now someone vandalizing the fiber, it was like confirming the fears that people had that all along our government was planning to shut down the internet. But I must be quick to point out that we read a press release from the office of the Chief Secretary of the government saying that assuring the public that there won't be any internet shutdown, and also I think he was urging internet service providers that they should make sure that internet is running throughout, and I think that's what happened. But still, people are questioning. From what I've gathered myself, is that MTL lost huge sums of money, close to $4,000 to fix
the cables,
yes, to repair or maintain the fiber, and that's awful lot of money which should not have been spent on a thing like this. Until now, we haven't heard what the police has done about it.
Yeah.
And MTL, I have information, MTL has lodged a complaint with the Office of the Inspector General of the Malawi Police.
Yeah.
Until now, no arrest has been made.
Yeah.
And these are issues that should worry any citizen. So we would want to urge our police service that they must be seen to be doing their job.
Okay.
This is a matter that they must investigate. Who vandalized the fiber?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need answers.
President Peter Mutharika has instructed his lawyers or his team to say he doesn't want to be a respondent. You correct me if I'm using the right term.
Yes.
In this case, when the law requires that the one who won the election should be there on the list, should be part of the case.
Well, I doubt whether that is the position.
Yeah.
But he's at liberty to join the case.
Yeah.
Because whatever decision will be made may affect him.
He was added actually.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, I would think that it's a good thing for him to be there, because whatever decision will be made may affect him. So you don't want people to be coming last minute and say, "Oh no, I wasn't heard." So maybe it's a good thing that. Well, but I haven't followed that bit that he has decided his lawyers not to. That I don't know. Yeah. But speaking for myself, I think it's a good thing for him to be part of the case. And
can the public go on and watch the case? That's the thing. Because 6 point something million people registered to vote.
Yes.
I think
6.8.
6.8. Around 5 million voted.
Yes.
Can all the 5 million go and watch? I don't know if the room would be enough. Can they all go and watch?
Well, one of the principles in the administration of justice is that justice or hearings or trials must be conducted in open court or open space, unless there's a good reason why it should be conducted in chambers or in camera without the public being involved.
Yeah.
And from what we learned or what we are taught in law school is that the idea, we call it open justice principle, the idea is that the judicial officer must also be under trial from the members of the public.
Yeah.
That is the principle.
Yeah.
While he's trying the case, he must be aware that people are observing, people are seeing, people heard the evidence.
Yeah.
So that must put a little bit of pressure on him to be fair, because he knows that there were people who were present, who heard what was said.
Yeah.
So if I decide something to the contrary, it may not go well maybe with the, So it's a good thing. But from what I know, it's not possible for the 5 million people to
Right.
to go to court and you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the space is small.
Yeah. But 2 or 3 can go, can't they?
Yeah,
Those who
I
are
mean,
interested.
Yeah, those obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be done in open court, I believe so.
Lastly,
Yes.
we understand that in law also sometimes you as lawyers or judges, etc., you refer to what happened somewhere,
Yes.
sometime
Mhm.
when you're doing your cases.
Yes,
or
yes. We
when
call it
you
precedent.
do- Yeah.
Yes.
So what are you going to refer? What are they going to refer to? The Kenyan incident. What are they going to use? Just give them a picture before we wrap up Times Exclusive this evening.
Okay. Maybe before I go to the precedent,
Yeah.
let me say that under our own law,
Mm-hmm.
it is very clear that anybody can go to court and challenge ward, councillor, or parliamentary or presidential. Very clear.
Okay.
And the law is very clear that if the court is satisfied that the irregularities or whatever challenges that were there would affect the outcome of the result, it has powers under our law to nullify
Okay.
that election. So there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that our court can do that, even for this particular case, if they, you know, the evidence before them would lead them to that conclusion. There's no doubt. So therefore, the question of the evidence of a precedent to me,
It doesn't arise.
well, it arises, but our law is very clear,
Yeah.
black and white,
Yeah.
that they can do it.
Okay.
And it has happened before, if you remember the Sungama case
Yeah.
in Rirong.
In
Of course, it was
Rirong,
at parliamentary
Sungama.
level,
Yeah.
but still, it has happened before.
Okay.
In Kenya, as you said, it happened before. In Zimbabwe, they tried, but
Didn't
the
work
court,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't work out. So, yeah, maybe the precedents could be used, but our law is also very clear on the issue. So maybe we don't need that precedent as such.
As such, okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Mandala Mambulasa, legal practitioner as well as former president of the Malawi Law Society, thank you very much for coming through to Times Exclusive.
Welcome.
Thank you. And that's all we had for you in today's edition of the program Times Exclusive. Today we were talking to Mr. Mandala Mambulasa, legal practitioner as well as a former president of the Malawi Law Society, and he was trying to make us understand what goes on when a country has got a challenge in court, for instance, against a presidential result during a general election. Remember, the program is brought to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints. I'm Elvis Howahowa. Bye-bye.